Hello, welcome to the Coventry Citywide Intelligence Hub e-learning course. My name's Sichun Lam and I'm the Insight Development Manager here at Coventry City Council. I'm also the lead designer of the Coventry Citywide Intelligence Hub and worked alongside my ICT colleagues Dave Maiden, John Day and the consultant Paul Rowley in the development of the hub. This video that you're watching is part of a series of videos about the Citywide Intelligence Hub. Welcome to the About the Citywide Intelligence Hub session. In this session, you will learn about the Coventry Citywide Intelligence Hub, what it is, why we built it, and how it works. You will also find out how we've applied it to the Joint Strategic Needs Assessment. The Citywide Intelligence Hub is a business intelligence dashboard that provides up-to-date metrics about Coventry and Warwickshire. We built it to provide a single source of truth. That is, one place where we can put all sorts of indicators and metrics. We hope the Citywide Intelligence Hub helps you with exploring and analysing metrics and indicators to support local research and intelligence. As Insight Development Manager, I work for the Insight team. The role of the team is to question, influence and provide understanding to make life better in Coventry. My part of the team works on culture and economy, health and well-being, housing and homelessness, geographical information systems, and complaints. Other parts of the Insight team works on education, social care, consultation, engagement, and equality and diversity. So firstly, here's why we built a Citywide Intelligence Hub. We want to make use of information better. If I drew a 2x2 matrix, where on the x-axis is how much data we use, and then on the y-axis is how much data we collect about individuals, you expect Facebook to be somewhere over there. They collect lots of information about individuals, whether or not they use Facebook or not. And they're also really good at making use of that information in order to target news and advertisements at you. I think this is somewhere where Coventry City Council is. We collect some information about individuals, not quite as much as Facebook does, and we don't really make use of that information. What we really want to do is to right-shift the council, backed by strong privacy controls and democratic accountability, so that we can make better use of the information that we collect, while ensuring that privacy is protected. We're adopting a platforms approach across intelligence and engagement. Colleagues in the engagement team have been building a platform called Let's Talk Coventry, which brings together consultation activities into one platform. In the past, we would have done individual SurveyMonkey questionnaires, and when the data is collected, it's filed into a report and the data is then discarded and not really reused. With Let's Talk Coventry, we are able to reuse that information more effectively so that people tell us things once and we make use of it again and again. We've done the same with the performance data. Instead of having performance information all over the place, we now have a performance hub in Coventry City Council where people can access guidance and dashboards all in one place. And in the middle is a data platform. And this is the Citywide Intelligence Hub. The idea is that instead of collecting metrics by different analysts and storing them in different ways, we've got one central platform where we collect all that data in one place and that we can reuse that over and over again. What we really want to do is that as the team develop, we want to be able to free up my analysts' time for more advanced insight. So that is moving away from just describing what's happening into more prescriptive analytics, saying what's likely to happen in future. Moving from doing some static reports to more interactive reports where people can access the data whenever they need to, so that my analysts can spend more time doing more exciting things, like prescribing what could happen in future, helping us answer some new questions. What we've built It's a bit of a data platform that allows us to collect lots of indicators. For instance, external data from Fingertips and LG Inform Plus, and with the possibility of building in other data sources. For instance, internal data from education, social care, finance, and so forth, some community intelligence, and also data from partners such as the NHS, other local authorities, police, fire, and so forth, really. And when we combine that data, we ensure that it's backed by strong privacy controls, and put that all in the data warehouse, and where appropriate, expose some of that information through APIs into the Citywide Intelligence Hub. And that in turn allows us to use the Citywide Intelligence Hub as a single source of truth that powers lots and lots of different types of reports, starting with the Joint Strategic Needs Assessment, but we can do the same thing with things like social care's market position statement, reports on housing and homelessness, bring the data together in terms of a performance data along with these sort of wider metrics for our council plan performance reporting and so forth, really. The next thing is, how does the Citywide Intelligence Hub actually work? Firstly, we did some data exploration. As an insight team, we went out and collected lots of data about these are the sort of metrics that we wanted to include in the hub. We came up with a data collection plan for health and well-being. In future, we can do the same for things like culture and housing and homelessness, understand what it is that we need to collect and where they're coming from. We assigned themes to those data sets so that the hub has some way of categorizing them, and then we set up import routines so that they can be put into data tables inside the data warehouse. After doing so, what we did effectively is to interrogate those data sources, and my colleagues in IT have developed some extract, transform, and load, or ETL routines, in order to convert the data into the correct format, more like. That takes JSON and CSV files using APIs, and we've developed input routines with certain refresh periods, put that into a data warehouse in the data table that looks something like this, a single metric tables which contain the actual numerical values, and some lookup tables around metrics, time periods, and areas or geographies. And there's some other tables in there around themes and subcategories, and also shape files for those areas in topo.json formats. So basically, this is a data model that allows you to store any metric as long as it's got a space dimension and a time dimension. So for instance, a metric could be population, and the space dimension would be population of Coventry or population of Upper Stoke Ward. And the time dimension of things like, well, the population of Upper Stoke Ward in 2017 as opposed to 2016. So that, as an example of population, would be a metric that's into this model, and we can put it into the Citywide Intelligence Hub. And then afterwards, we've developed some Power BI reports in order for that data to be exposed to the users, really. And because it's in the data warehouse, we're able to combine that with other data sets as well in future, including internal data and so forth, really. So in short, the system is designed to use APIs to connect to a range of metrics about Coventry and relevant comparator areas from the internal corporate data warehouse, as well as external sources such as the LGA's Local Government Inform Plus, and Public Health England's Fingertips API. The metrics are stored in the data warehouse, where any indicator with a defined geographical and time dimension can fit in the model. And we've built the hub using Power BI with additional features enabled through the topo.json shape maps derived from Open Geography Portal, and statistical analysis using a regression chart from a company called Cradac. So, over to the Joint Strategic Needs Assessment, or JSNA. The JSNA is the statutory responsibility of every single health and wellbeing board in the country. And the purpose of it is to bring together evidence about the health and wellbeing of Coventry residents to help leaders across health and care understand and work towards improving the health and wellbeing of local people. This year, we went for a much shorter a much more focused JSNA profile. So instead of putting together every single metric and indicator into the profile, we've built a citywide intelligence hub where people can explore the data in detail. So in a way, the JSNA is almost the first use case scenario for the Citywide Intelligence Hub. So the JSNA is really about finding what life is really like for Coventry people. In 2016, we did so by collecting lots and lots of data and indicators about Coventry, and we put them into a big data book. It's a data book of around 120 pages, and that was used to inform the health and well-being strategy in 2016. This year, we wanted to do something a bit different. So again, we wanted to collect lots and lots of data and metrics about people, but we also went out via our engagement team to collect some community intelligence from members of the public, from community groups, and from partner organisations about what life really is like in Coventry. But instead of putting that into one massive data book of around 120 pages that perhaps just 12 people ever read, what we wanted to do was produce much shorter summaries in terms of real analytical profiles about what life is really like in Coventry for these residents. But there's still a need to collect those detailed metrics and indicators, and therefore that went into the Citywide Intelligence Hub. And the idea is that those analytical profiles would give you some headline messages and those key sets of data that you need for your reporting purposes, for things like the other bits of reports or analysis that you do. And for the more detailed analysis, you can go into the Citywide Intelligence Hub and access the data yourself and get that really detailed understanding of what life's really like in Coventry. So this is what we've done towards a place-based approach. And for each of those profiles, and indeed for the Citywide Intelligence Hub, we've put them into 4 categories: demographics and communities, prospects, housing and environment, and health and well-being. And those 4 things all go into these JSNA analytical profiles which combine data and engagement. We've used that template for the citywide profile. We're using for the place-based neighbourhood profiles, and the same structure about demographics, prospects, housing environment, and health and well-being also sits inside the Citywide Intelligence Hub as well. So what we've really achieved is that we've got a citywide profile. I didn't quite meet the target of 20 pages, but it's 36 pages and it contains lots of pictures. And we're working on additional profiles for each of those places across Coventry. Thank you very much for listening. My name's Sijun Lam, and you can access the Citywide Intelligence Hub at coventry.gov.uk/JSNA.